Yo, what up everyone? Amir here, owner of Rapping and Snacking, getting into another weekly playlist video. And hit me up on Instagram and TikTok at Rapping and Snacking. And I actually just made a playlist. So this first playlist, I'm going to make a few playlists. This first playlist is just for 80s and 90s West Coast tracks. Some singles, some tracks that I like, just a bunch of artists. And I'm sure there's a lot that some people haven't heard. Right now, the playlist is over 40, maybe 45 hours of music, so it's wild. It's on Spotify, link is down there. I'm going to be making more, East Coast, South, Midwest, and then, the 2000s era, etc., and it's just going to keep going. So I'm just going to make a few of those. It does take some time, so bear with me, but I am making them. So this one's going to be West Coast oriented because I kind of want to keep with the West Coast theme, but these are tracks I've been bumping in this past week. First track that I've been bumping quite a bit this past week would be from the Suga Free Street Gospel album, and the track is I'd Rather Give You My Bitch. And this song right here is it's actually really funny. But Suga Free he's a character. In hip hop, he's definitely a character. He's super unique. He's one of those artists that really he I don't know when he started rapping, in terms of when he had the idea to start rapping and all that stuff, but, he was like a real life pimp. So the fact that he made the transition to rapping is just interesting in of itself. And then you hear his tracks, his concepts, his rhymes, just everything about it. You can tell these are things that he did. So this song is very interesting because he's basically saying I'd rather give you my bitch instead of giving you my weed. Rather than having you hit my cigarette, you can have this girl. It's just he's basically saying he has so many women that he'd rather give one of those up than his weed, which is a wild concept, but that's interesting. And then the beat by DJ Quick is so good, and then how Suga Free just raps and how he just kind of he's known for not always being on beat. So just the fact that Suga Free can do that and still make it sound good and addictive and dope is just wild. He's one of hip-hop's talents, that's for sure. And the song is just really catchy, in my opinion. I mean, that beat is so good. And it's got kind of an Asian feel to it a little bit in the the Sonics department. When you listen to the beat, you'll know exactly what I mean. But then you also hear that bass line, which is dope. I mean, it's just a really, really dope song from a dope album. And so that's for sure on that playlist. That's one of the tracks I'm bumping a lot. Another track I've been bumping a lot. This one actually came up on my shuffle when I was listening, and this is also on the playlist. But this is from the album by Dazzie, the shadiest one, and the track that I'm picking from here is Better Days, which was also a single, and it features Ron Banks from the Dramatics. This was produced by, I think, Bar 9 Productions, but, I mean, Dazzie, he's really underrated, and he's been part of some dope-ass groups, man. I mean, obviously, most people recognize him for West Side Connection, but also he had his own group, Dazzie and the Mad Circle, and he also is part of Low Profile, and the list goes on, so he's been in hip-hop for over 30 years, and people probably don't even know that, but he's got a great discography, and this solo album is a dope one. But Better Days, I mean, the beat on it is great. It makes you feel some type of way, and also really, I really like the message on it, how he's basically saying, don't just turn your back on the ghetto, give back, you can't just leave the little G's, etc., and he's just talking about, those days. And on top of that, like I said, the chorus is just so great and excellent. And Dazzie, for a song like this, for Dazzie, you'd usually just envision him, when you think of his name, you usually envision him on a more gangster track. Well, this is not a gangster track at all. And like I said, even in his earlier discography and throughout his discography, he doesn't just have gangster tracks. He has other types of moods, this being one of those moods. Really, really, really dope song. We've been pumping that one a lot. Next up, I've been bumping this album by DJ Pooh, Bad News Travels Fast. And on this one, I've been bumping Bump Yo Speakers. And this is dope because DJ Pooh, he's a producer. He's not rapping on the song. Who's rapping on the song is Threat. And what's really dope is because Threat, there's not a lot of Threat music out there. You've heard him on some features. He had his own solo album, and then you just hear him on features aside from that. and this is 97. So the fact that we have Threat in 97 is awesome. He does really well on the track. The beat is very funky, so I really enjoy that aspect of it. And Threat I'm kind of mad he hasn't made more music. I wish we just had more Threat music, but DJ Pooh has him on here, really kills it. Love the chorus. The beat, like I said, is addictive. I mean, just listen to it. I don't know how you won't like this song. It's so excellent. And it's probably a song that a lot of people haven't heard. So if you're watching these videos, make sure to check these songs out, because I'm putting on some gems that not a lot of people talk about. A lot of people rely on, what's been popularized by like radio or other Spotify playlists or what other people post. And it's like every person has like the same 100 albums in their collection. Well, you got to go a little outside of the box. And some people don't talk about music like this. And Threat goes in. DJ Pooh has a dope-ass beat, and this is also on that playlist, but peep that one out. Really dope. And also, just real quick, to kind of go on that little tangent right there, this album's really cool because, like I said, DJ Pooh's not going for like the big old household names. He's got like Threat on here, he has Mr. Grimm on here, he has Cam on here, and it goes on. So it's just kind of like he's not relying on huge like household names. And DJ Pooh, he had been in the game up in this point. He'd been in the game for like 10 years. So big shout out to DJ Pooh. Next up, we actually have a CD that I had recently got. I've been looking for the CD, but I finally got it. This is Richie Rich's debut album, Don't Do It, solo album. He's also part of the group 415. He's from Oakland, California. Dope artist. I know a lot of people probably know him from some of his work with Tupac. But here's Richie Rich right here, super young. And the track that I'm also picking is the album title, Don't Do It. And Don't Do It's really cool. DJ Daryl produced it, and it's track one. There's the track Don't Do It, and then there's the Don't Do It, the long version. Two different versions, both on the same album. And pretty cool stuff. I like the beat. He's talking about like some historical figures in it. He's talking about like what's the right thing to do, what's not the right thing to do, etc. Throughout. He's talking about some of the life in Oakland, blah, 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 whatever. It's a dope track. Richie Rich, like I said, I feel like a lot of people don't talk about him, but he's got some dope music. And also on the playlist. And I was excited to finally pick this up on CD, because the CD is not the cheapest. I got it part of a bundle deal. It's for sure going to be in one of my future Collector Corner videos. I picked it up from 12 Man Rambo, but it's not a cheap CD. Go ahead and look up the Discogs prices on that. And last up, part of this, it's from one album, but this album, these are two different pressings that I have right here. Dazzie Dee's The Re-Birth album. This right here on my left is the US pressing. It's a black cover, but in like grayish, blackish text, it says Dazzie Dee The Re-Birth, the album. And then on this side, this is the German pressing that I have here, different cover. Both are the same. And then there was an album before this with a different track list, different songs. That was called Where's My Receipt, which is like the original version of this album, and they just pressed this up. But track I've been bumping is actually the title track, The Re-Birth. And The Re-Birth, it's also worth noting that Battle Cat produced all this. Battle Cat being a super underrated, awesome producer. The Re-Birth is such an excellent beat. I mean, Battle Cat with the G-Funk, he just kills it. And man, Dazzie Dee, I'm assuming a lot of people haven't heard of Dazzie Dee because he also just doesn't have a ton of music out there. But really, really good song to actually just get put on him. And honestly, let me tell y'all, go ahead, do yourself a favor and listen to this album, The Re-Birth, especially if you like West Coast music, if you like the G-Funk Sonics, if you like Battle Cat production. You'll be surprised. Dazzie Dee also goes in on the bars. He has some dope tracks on here. He has some dope features. Let me actually name some of these features, because if y'all haven't heard this album, you'll be like, how have I not heard it? Because some of these features are wild. You have Ice Cube on here. You have KD on here. You have Dolomite on here. You have Coolio on here. You have The Chill on here. So, Toddy T, Mixmaster Spade. Oh my, I forgot they're on this album. Oh my god. So, this is a dope track list. And Dazzie Dee, he does well too. Don't be sleeping on Dazzie Dee. So, man, I mean, that's a dope album. I'm actually probably going to listen. I haven't heard that Mixmaster Spade and Toddy T song in a while. It's called Where Are You From? Is King T on that song too? It says King T on here too. So maybe I'm just forgetting that. But anyways, super, super, super dope. And that Dazzie Dee album's hard. That one actually is not on my Spotify playlist, and the reason why it's not is because Spotify doesn't have it. So these are like the things. And this is another thing why it took me so long to make a playlist, is because I don't like being limited. I buy music because I can listen to it. It's not like restricted on some platform because of licensing or rights and all these other things, artist disputes, blah, blah. I have the music, I can listen to it whenever I want to, whereas Spotify, this is a dope album. It's not on there anywhere. I couldn't add Dr. Dre's The Chronic. I couldn't add Snoop's Doggy Style. And then I'm sure in 5 years or 2 years or 2 months or whatever, these albums will be on Spotify. So I have to modify my whole playlist, and it's just a bunch of shit going on, man. So anyways, it's a little rant, but those are my most played tracks. Hit me up on Spotify, Instagram, TikTok at Rappin' and Snackin'. I appreciate y'all as always. Buy something from the store down there. I appreciate y'all. I'll talk to y'all next time. Let me know your favorite tracks. I always love hearing that. And I'll see ya. Peace.